Good afternoon, that bloke on a motorbike. I'm out taking advantage of one of the very few dry days we've had lately. As per usual, when I was getting ready, the sun was shining, and as soon as I pressed the starter button, it clouded over. But it's still dry, it's not frosty, there's no ice, so I went for a ride. So the place that we're going to today, in its day, it was part of what was then equivalent to the motorway network of England. And the place that we're going to is called Standedge Tunnel. It's a tunnel that goes through the Pennines hills, taking the canal, which is now known as the Huddersfield Narrow Canal, and it's taking that through the hill and coming out a place called Diggle. As is usual with just about all my rides, there is a coffee shop there, so I will definitely be stopping and having a cuppa. Get a bit of warmth back in. I've been before, and it's quite a nice little cafe actually. Although the last time I went, it was in summer. I was sat outside. And it was quite warm, unlike today. So we're just dropping down into one of the roundabouts that you can get onto the M62 with. But you can only get on going westbound at this one, and you can only get off it going eastbound, so quite a strange little roundabout. So we're now joining New Hay Road, the A640, and as Google has just told me, I'm going to be on this road now for 9 miles, heading up over the top of the Pennines. So this little village we're going through now, a place called Outlane. This used to be the main road going across the Pennines. When I was a kid, my Uncle Jim used to drive a wagon delivering mainly coal, and he would come and pick me and my brother up, and this is one of the roads that I can remember us going up quite a lot of times on this. It was an old comma wagon that he had with the engine inside the cab with a little hump over it, and I used to get the seat and my brother used to sit up on top of the engine cover. There's absolutely no way you could do that now with health and safety. You get absolutely hammered. Talk about no seat belts, there wasn't even a seat. Just there, don't know if you can see it, got the M62, we just crossed to the other side of it as we came over that roundabout. See there, right across up to the top of the Pennines. It's a bit breezy. We got just through these roadworks. When we get going through here, we're going to be crossing the M62. This will be the final time that I cross it on this particular ride out. Go through there, try and get you a look at it and watch the road surface at the same time. There's the M62 just down there. There's Scamandon Bridge, which is a really high bridge. Anybody who has watched any of good old Fred Dibner will might have seen him going over there with his steam engine, that little trailer on the back, one of the last series that he made. Strangely enough, I was only watching that the other night on TV. So we just had a drought in UK in last year. I can remember a few years ago when we had another drought, they were actually bringing water trucks from Kielder and parking them on sides here and then piping the water down into Scamandon. So luckily we weren't quite as bad as that this year. Or 2022 I should say. On the right hand side here we've got Nod Sarah's. Still got the sign outside for it, but now it's private accommodation. Used to be a pub, I've been there a few times for meals as well. The thing is, I've ridden this road a lot since I started riding, really, on the little Honda SS50. It's not too far away and you're out in the middle of nowhere. And on a day like this it's bleak and it's cold, but I have ridden up here where it's been absolutely thick as snow as well. When I was younger, never bothered me. I just continue to ride. I still ride through winter now, but I think my days of going out when there is actually snow on the ground are I think they're done. I don't know whether I'm getting old or sensible. Depends which way you look at that, I suppose. When you get up to the top, there's a little car park on the left hand side. I'm just going to pull in there just to show you the view, because it's spectacular. So a little car park here. I'm just going to.
In 50 yards, turn left onto A640.
Pulling at the side there in a minute. Let you have a quick look. Look at that view. Absolutely amazing. Got the road down at the bottom there in that that dip. That road goes out from the other side of Huddersfield up over Saddleworth itself. And you can see Homemost transmitter just out over there where you get the radio signals. And this is bleak. It is bleak. Now in summer from here, what you get in summer is you get people coming up and hang gliding. They come up there and they go hang gliding off the top. That road takes you back down into Halifax. The scale of this is just so big that it's hard to take it in, that valley there. Well, years ago, this building on the right hand side, that was another pub, which closed quite a long time ago and then has been renovated and made into a private house. When I was bike training, instructing people, I used to bring riders on this road, particularly on direct access. So when they got the basics done and they knew how to control and how to ride the bike right in town, I used to bring them up here for a shakedown ride. Let's face it, this is what we're going to be riding. They're not going to ride around town all week. So I used to bring them up here. And one of the things you used to get them to do was stop there and say, right, what can you see around that bend? And they would never take into account what was behind that wall. And particularly this one. But what you do get, it's fenced off now, it didn't used to be as fenced off as this. But what you used to get here is you get sheep behind the wall, particularly in winter, not only sheltering from the weather, but also they'll be licking the salt off the roads, and that used to quite surprise them, did that. So I brought direct access, and I'd also bring advanced riders up here as well, because it is quite technical in places. And the other thing about it was that I just enjoyed riding this road. So welcome to Saddleworth. So we're dropping down now into Saddleworth area. That's now Greater Manchester. Got a saying around these parts in Yorkshire that wind today, we call that a Halifax wind. It's called a Halifax wind because choose what you've got on, it won't go round you, it just goes straight through you and absolutely freezes you. So this was one of the technical bits that put a 30-mile-an-hour recommended speed limit on now. What you can get in conditions like this in winter, you can get localised ice where the road looks a bit damp. If wind's been going across it a bit quickly, you can drop it down and form little patches of ice. You've got a reservoir down at Diggle in the bottom there. What a beautiful road this is. Just shows you don't have to ride very far. And what, I'm 21 miles away from home. When I came down here in summer, that reservoir was just about empty. And got the reservoir, it's quite full now, so in fact it's just about totally full now. I do like the sound of that engine as it's reverbing coming off that wall on the hillside. Well, let's have a look now. I need to go to Delft, so I think that's down here. Just looking in the mirrors, they're getting quite a bit of my elbows in at the moment. I have been thinking about getting the Royal Enfield mirror extenders that go on the handlebars and just move your mirrors out about an inch, inch and a half, something like that. I just wondered, has anybody tried them? Anybody got some? What do you think to them? Stick us a thing down in comments, will you? And let me know before I spend my hard-earned 20 odd quid on a pair. If you do that, it'd be much appreciated. So this is the road that we saw when I pulled into the little car park. So we've done a big loop and we're coming down here now. That on the right hand side, that used to be a cafe called the Ponderosa, and it was called out my Uncle Jamie for going on this road into Lancashire. Then up on the hillside you can see there's some smoke coming out of the tunnels. There's actually 3 rail tunnels run through, as well as the tunnel going through for the canal. we're going to be looking at when we get there is the canal tunnel. And the canals in the heyday were the absolute motorways of the time. And if you look at the canals as they're built around Staffordshire, that's when we started, general population started from eating on wooden plates and wooden bowls to pottery, because once we got the canals there it was easy to transport. We could manufacture in bulk, that brought the prices down, and Staffordshire was one of the major pottery centres. In fact, a good thing for your pub quiz: where does the word pothole come from in the roads? As we keep saying, look at all those potholes. Well, you go back a few hundred years, roads were compacted, and just compacted earth and clay. So they had the compacted earth and clay roads, and it was far easier to go to the road if it was clay and dig some out, and then you could make pots with it rather than having to dig the hillside away to get to it. So that's where where it came from, that they were potholes, holes for making pots. So this bridge now going over the canal itself, and then we're going to turn left up here. So you can see the hill in front of us there, that's where the canal tunnel, the railway tunnels go through. But you think they went through that, dug it out with just picks and shovels, and moved the whole lot on wheelbarrows and little wooden trackways. They wouldn't even think about starting to do that now. It's ridiculous. That was the birth of the Industrial Revolution. So here we have the museum and the tunnel. I'm hoping that cafe is open, because I desperately need a coffee. Please be open. So right, I'm going to go see if the cafe part is open. So I will be back and see you in a bit. Okay, so in the 1700s the canals were the motorway network of its time, allowing goods to be transported far quicker than the old method of pack horses, pack horse trains, and also stagecoaches. So this one on the Huddersfield Narrow Canal was authorised by an Act of Parliament on 4th of April 1794, and construction began a few months later. Well, the tunnel is 5,451 yards or 4,984 metres in length. But within 2 years of starting it, cost-saving measures came in and they pushed back the completion date, and progress was slowed by water levels as well, far more than expected inside the tunnel. And it proved difficult to secure skilled help. Some tenders that they put out went unanswered, and the original constructor of the tunnel, Benjamin Outram, withdrew from the venture. So in 1807 they got a bit more famous guy in, Thomas Telford, and he drew up new plans for its completion, and in 1811 the tunnel opened to traffic. Now, the good thing about this, or the interesting thing about it, it's the longest and oldest of the 4 Standedge tunnels, and it's also the longest tunnel in length, the highest above sea level, and the deepest canal tunnel in the United Kingdom. So it's cutting right through the hill in front of us. It was closed in 1943 to general traffic, but then was reopened in May 2001 and it's operating to this day. So during summer they do short boat trips from the car park, which we can't actually park in this car park. You normally park up at the railway, and there's a little boat which brings you down, and you get off at the wharf, or the little steps we can see just down there. So get off down there, and also on certain days, special days, they do trips from here, and you can go through the tunnel, the full length of it, coming out at the other side in Diggle. Now if you've got your own narrowboat, if you're lucky enough, yes, you can take your own narrowboat through there. All you need to do is contact Canals and River Trust, and they will book a time for you to do that. Right, so back on my bike, and we'll start heading back home now. Let's turn it round. Nice place that. So if you're in this area, it's a nice little cafe. During summer, when the Canals and River Trust's here, might be a bit different parking.
50 yards, turn left onto Ainsley Lane.
But last time I were here, I came down on the mighty BMW, and I just asked one of the Canals guys, is it okay if I park here? I don't fancy parking your bike and leaving it in car park. And he says, yeah, not a problem. So there you go. This is a little bit of an awkward one coming out of here. So you're starting uphill and then having to turn immediately with the blind bend on the left hand side there. So on this, I have no problem whatsoever. I did it on the mighty BMW, and oh, heart in mouth time. Right, so we'll make us way back now. So thanks for joining me on this ride. Hope you've enjoyed it, especially that little hope you enjoyed the little industrial part at the end there. So if you have enjoyed it and you're not subscribed, think about hitting the subscriptions thing, hit the little bell notification, share it with anybody you want to, and give us a like. It all helps with the channel. So thanks for watching, ride safe, and I will see you out on the road. Bye folks.